Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, man. All praise to the Most High, the Mashiach, man. How was y'all week? Good. Beautiful? That's good to hear. Good to hear. Well, one of our beloved elders is back on the scene with a lesson for us. You know what I'm saying? We want to take the time, though, and real quick acknowledge one of our newer sisters. Sister, could you, if you don't mind, you know what I'm saying, introduce yourself to everybody.
Sister Angela.
This Sister Angela, we met Sister Angela this past week. Let's get some quiet, y'all. Come on now. What's up with the order? What up? We met Sister Angela this past, the last day of unleavened bread. We went out on the street for a bit to holler at this Gentile brother that was out there teaching them lies to our people. And the sister stood and was just, you know, all in, listening to the word, man. It just seemed like she really on fire for the Most High. So she went out her way to make sure she was here, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, show her some love, make her feel welcome. That's how we do. Jerome, start. Introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. You got to stand up. You got to.
You ain't got to just, you know, everybody, Jerome's daughter.
Right.
She got her own name,
Jerome's daughter.
It's Jerome's daughter. She don't want to stand up.
Obviously, she's interested as well, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure she wanted to come as well. So let's go on our way to make our people feel welcome. Let's get some quiet, y'all. Keep in mind, we got to keep the order going on. The brothers get ready to, you record now?
Yeah.
Let's give a big shout out to my brother Joshua in the building.
Big Josh. Our brother's back. All right, let's try to keep the background noise to a minimum so the brother record or whatever. And,
yeah, we already started.
Yeah.
We already started
recording. Yeah.
Yeah, because last week I was watching a clip from the 11 bread, and it is very disturbing looking at those videos, the noise.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
And I'm just be honest, like, I know certain people here probably feel like, wow, these brothers keep telling us to be quiet, who they think they are, but it's not like that. We have to have order. Like, in all reality, if you look at certain, like, elders that have been doing their thing for years, you look at them, it's super quiet. You don't have that. And in order for us to have a professional appearance, like we really care about the Most High, we're not just in here acting fool. You know, we gotta have some order. You know, so let's try to uphold that. Bill, you got quiet. Okay.
Well, yeah, this joke we're gonna get into right here today, man, it's called basically like the hand of the Most High versus the hidden hand. So all through script, we're gonna see he always talking about his right hand, and his hand did this, and his hand did this. So that's what we're gonna get into. We're gonna show y'all that all of this stuff actually connect. All of these stories connect with each other. It's no coincidence that it's in there like that about the hand. So it's just like when they say, oh my goodness, you gotta watch out if you don't want this book to get into the wrong hands, or you don't want this power to get into the wrong hands, because the wrong hands can do some evil with this stuff. Just like they were doing on that movie, The Book of Eli. He wanted to get the book. That was the book being in the wrong hands, or the left hand, so to speak. So, how did we come out of Egypt?
The mighty hand of the Most High.
Exactly. The mighty hand of the Most High. Let's get the first script. Let's get on Exodus 32:11. BJ.
The book of Shemot, chapter 32 and verse 11. And Moses besought Yahuwah his power and said, Yahuwah, why does your wrath wax hot against your people, which you have brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand?
Great power and with a mighty hand. So we know that this right hand equals Hamashiach. But it's another hand that's always working against you. Trying to take you the opposite way. Always there. Let's get Deuteronomy 3 and 24. Deuteronomy 3 and 24.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 3 and verse 24. O Yahuwah, the Most High, you have begun to show your servant your greatness.
Begin to show your servant your greatness. Go ahead.
And your mighty hand.
What?
And your mighty hand.
Go ahead.
For what power is there in Shamayim or in earth that can do according to your works and according to your might?
So again, that mighty hand. Let's see how the people talked about it. How Moses, father-in-law talked about it. Let's get Exodus 18 and 9.
The book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 9. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which Yahuwah had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians.
Out of who?
Out of the hand of the
So
Egyptians.
he delivered us out of the hand of the Egyptians. Read the next verse.
And Jethro said, Blessed be Yahuwah, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians.
So he just keeps repeating his hand, but this is in here for a reason. Because he just said it like 3 times in one verse about from out of these people's hand, out of Pharaoh's hand, out of the Egyptians' hand. Seems like it's talking about the same thing, but all of this stuff don't make sense in a minute. So let's look at the evil hand or the hidden hand somewhat. Let's get Genesis 31. Genesis 31 and verse 20. This is Jacob when he was working for Laban, or slaving for Laban rather. Yeah, verse 20.
Bereshit, chapter 30, 31, and verse 20. And Yaakov stole away unaware to Laban the Syrian, and that he told him not that he fled. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river, and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the 3rd day that HWHY was fled. And he took his brethren with him, and pursued after him 7 days' journey. And they overtook him in Mount Gilead. And the Most High came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night.
So the Most High came to Laban right here in the dream. Read.
And said to him, Take heed that you speak not to HWHY either good or bad.
Don't say nothing good to him or bad. Read.
Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What have you done, that you have stolen away unaware to me, and carried away my daughters, as captives taken with the sword?
Now Jacob been working for him for years, being a slave, basically. So he's saying, why you left me without telling me? Read.
Why did you flee away secretly and steal away from me, and did not tell me, that I might have sent you away with mirth and with songs, with tabret and with harp, and has not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? You have now done foolishly in doing so. It is in the power of my hand.
In the what?
It is in the power of my hand.
When he says it's in the power of my hand, no, it's not the Most High already told you. You can't do nothing to him. In the verses before. Read.
To do you hurt. But the Most High of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, take you heed that you speak not to Jacob either good or bad.
So it really ain't in his hand to do you good or evil, because you know you can't right there. But pull that, there's a hidden little thing going on right here. Pull up the meaning to labor. Remember, he's been being a slave to him. What's that mean now?
Levan. H3837. White.
White. So we see this was like a picture of our quote unquote being enslaved, because Jacob was our forefather. So this is like a little picture of it, showing that the unfair treatment that he did to him all of this time, and then when he just got up and left, I'm finished with my servitude to you, he still don't want to let him out. Same thing, let my people go. Same kind of thing. Let's get on Matthew 27. Start at verse 16.
Matik Yahoo, chapter 27 and verse 16. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, whom will you that I release unto you, Barabbas or HWHY, which is called HaMashiach? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent to him, saying, have you nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy HWHY.
So you better believe this same thing gonna pop off again. These wicked elders will actually teach you to go against the actual Messiah. Watch what I tell you. Read.
The governor answered and said to them, whether of the two will you that I release to you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said unto them, what shall I do then with HWHY, which is called HaMashiach? They all say unto him, let him be crucified. And the governor said, why? What evil has he done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified.
Now this wicked man is actually trying to let him go. Read.
When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water.
He took what?
He took water
And did what?
and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See you to it.
Pilate was a smart man right here. You know, this ain't right. That's why he took some water. I'm washing my hands in this situation. This ain't right. This man ain't done absolutely nothing. But our people were so wicked. Let the blood be on us. He said, I don't want the blood on my hands. Our people turn right around and say, put it on us and our children. Crazy. I'm so mad at them for that. Yes. Let's get Micah 2. Show you how the evil hand plots. Micah 2 and 1.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
So woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Read.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
So these people thinking all night is called a think tank. They up all night thinking of evil ways to do harm to you. All night long in their bed, they sitting thinking, what in the world can we do to these people? All day long. Look it up, think tanks. Read.
And they covet fields.
They do what?
They covet
He
fields.
says they covet fields. This was breaking a commandment. You coveting somebody else's field. Who does this? It's a group called Monsanto, who does this exact same thing. They take everything, so almost all the food is what? GMO. Genetically modified. Really mean it ain't no good. No nutrients in it. That's what these people are doing right now. Read.
They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Even a man and his heritage. That's kind of deep. So we are the Messiah's what? Inheritance, right? And he says that they covet fields, right? Let's go to, we get a couple of precepts. Let's get Genesis 4 and 2. It's going to all make sense in a minute.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 2. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain a tiller of the ground.
Tiller of the ground. So what was Cain? Farmer, a man of the what? Of the field. Let's get Genesis 25 and 27.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
Man of what?
A man of the field.
Is this any coincidence? Absolutely not. Both of these guys was man of what? Of the field. It says they covered fields, right? Let's get Matthew 13 and 38.
Matthew chapter 13 and verse 38. The field is the world.
Is the what?
The field is the world.
And the field is the world. He told us to what? To come out of what?
The world.
To come out of the world, right? Finish that out.
The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one.
So the wicked one got his tares down here, trying to uproot his inheritance. So let's see how they're going to do it. So let's go back to Micah 2. Start at verse 2.
The book of Micah chapter 2 and verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Again, we are the Messiah's inheritance. Let's prove it. Let's get Exodus 34 and 9.
The book of Exodus chapter 34 and verse 9. And he said, if now I have found grace in your sight, O Yahuwah, let my master, I pray you, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people.
So what kind of
It is a stiff-necked people.
Read.
And pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance.
Take us for your inheritance. So remember, he says that these people covet fields. They do this stuff by violence. violence don't mean to just take it. It means a clever plot. Like Monsanto, they don't just strong on you. They come in and they set up laws to be able to do this stuff. Well, let's show you. Let's get some. These stories are deeper than what we've been thinking. Let's get 1 Kings 21. First Kings 21 and starting 1.
1 Kings chapter 21 and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard.
He had what?
Had a vineyard.
He had a vineyard. What grows in vineyards? Grapes and things, right? Quote unquote a field, right? Read.
Which was at Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs.
So he says, give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs. Read.
Because it is near to my house, and I will give you for it a better vineyard than it. Or, if it seem good to you, I will give you the worth of it in money.
Read on.
And Naboth said to Ahab, Yahuwah forbid me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you.
That I should give what?
That I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you.
Remember they said that we try to take men's inheritance, right? So he said, Naboth's name means fruit, by the way. And they both said to Ahab, the Lord forbid it me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you. Read.
And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased, because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will give not you the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed, and turned away his face, and would eat no bread.
Now here go the slickness right here. Lay upon their beds and do this clever stuff to get your inheritance or your field. Read.
But Jezebel his wife came to him and said to him, Why is your spirit so sad, that you eat no bread?
Why are you so sad that you don't eat no bread? You the king over all of this stuff. Read.
And he said unto her, Because I spake to Naboth the Jezreelite, and said to him, Give me your vineyard for money, or else, if it please you, I will give you another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give you my vineyard.
So he said, I still can't give you my vineyard. So he's upset about not getting this vineyard. And we see, if you read the rest of this, they actually kill him to get his vineyard. Now, can anybody tell me the deeper meaning to this story? Let's get a couple of precepts. Let's get Psalm 78 and 54.
The book of Psalms, chapter 78 and verse 54. And he brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to his mountain, which his right hand had purchased.
Which is what?
Which his right hand had purchased.
Which his right hand had purchased. Jump down to verse 57.
57. But turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoked him to anger with their high places, and moved him to jealousy with their graven images. When the Most High heard this, he was upset and greatly abhorred Israel.
So they moved him to jealousy with this. Let's go to Psalms 80, 15. So he says his right hand purchased a vineyard.
The book of Psalms, chapter 80 and verse 15. And the vineyard which your right hand has planted.
Which what?
Which your right hand has planted, and the branch that you made strong for yourself, it is burned with fire.
So what is this vineyard that he's talking about right here? And the vineyard which thy right hand hath planted. What's the vineyard?
Isaiah 5:7, Israel.
Sharp. Like a tuxedo, like a blade in a tuxedo. Read.
It is burned with fire. It is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your countenance. Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand.
Read that again.
Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand.
So let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand, which is who? The Messiah. Read on.
Upon the Son of Man, whom you made strong for yourself.
Upon the Son of Man, whom you made strong for yourself. Let's get into the real meaning of this story. Get Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5 and 1.
HWHY, chapter 5 and verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved, a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard.
Touching his what?
Touching his vineyard.
Read on.
My well-beloved has a vineyard in a very fruitful hill.
Talking about his people in Israel. Read.
And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
What kind of grapes?
Wild grapes.
Wild grapes. So the Most High is the farmer, the husbandman, but he planted something and it came back wild. That's not a good thing. Oh, yeah, read it from here. The whole verse.
And he dug it up and cleared it of stones and planted it with the choicest vine.
So you know how we do in the garden when you hear me call us over there and get all that stuff out the bushes and, move them tires and all them rocks? Read.
And built a watchtower in its midst, and also made a winepress in it. And he waited for the yielding of grapes, but it yielded rotten ones.
What kind of grapes?
Rotten ones.
Children of Israel. Rotten people. That's it. Read.
And now, O inhabitant of Jerusalem, and man of Yehuda, please judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done to my vineyard that I have not done in it?
He said, what more could I have done to it? I'm the Most High. I can't do nothing else to this thing. Read.
Why, when I waited for the yielding of grapes, did it yield rotten ones? And now, please, let me inform you what I am doing to my vineyard, to take away the hedge, and it shall be burned.
It shall be what?
It shall be burned.
So the other story that we was reading about Naboth, that the backdrop of that story was, we are the vineyard that Satan, or the anti-Messiah, is trying to get. He's trying to take over. That whole story about that vineyard, that's talking about us. We are the Most High's vineyard that everybody wants. But they want to do what? Keep us and make us rotten grapes. So he'll throw us in the furnace. Read.
To break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down, and I lay it waste. It is not pruned or dug, and thorn bushes and weeds shall come up, and I command the clouds not to rain on it.
Wait a minute, what kind of bushes was that?
Thorn bushes.
Thorn bushes. Anybody recognize what the thorn about? When Adam first sinned, he says what? Gonna come out the ground.
Thorns and thistles.
Thorns and thistles. What kind of crown does the Messiah have on?
Thorns.
See the connection with this stuff? What verse was it?
Verse 7.
Read.
For the vineyard of Yahuwah of hosts is the house of Israel.
Is what?
Is the house of Israel.
The vineyard is the house of Israel. It's talking about us. So that whole thing was the anti-Messiah, or Satan was after the Most High's vineyard. That's what the story is really talking about. Read.
And the man of Yehuda is his pleasant plant.
Is what?
Is his pleasant plant.
Is his pleasant plant. Read.
He looked for right ruling, but see oppression, for righteousness, but see weeping.
But see weeping, and that's exactly what our people is in right now. Mourning. Let's get John 15 and 5. John 15 and 5.
Book of HWHY, chapter 15 and verse 5. I am the vine.
I am what?
I am the vine.
And what?
You are the
So
branches.
he says, I am the vine, and you are what?
The branches.
You are the branches. Read.
He that abides in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing.
Without Hamashiach, we can't do nothing. Because he is what? That hand. The right hand of the Most High. But let's get some deeper stuff. Let's get Genesis 9. Genesis 9 and 20. Remember, we're talking about this vineyard. And what grows in vineyards again? What do grapes turn into? Okay. Read.
Genesis 9 and 20. And Noah began to be a husbandman.
So he began to be a farmer. Read.
And he planted a vineyard.
Planted what?
And he planted a
He
vineyard.
planted a vineyard or a vineyard. Read.
And he drank of the wine.
So Noah did what?
And he drank of the
He
wine.
drank of the wine, and what happened?
And was drunken.
So Noah went and got drunk in his vineyard, right? So Noah done went and got drunk. So when you do drunk things, not good results happen, right? Read that from the top of the heart.
And Noah began to be a husbandman. And he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunken.
So he drank of the wine and was drunken. Read.
And he was uncovered within his tent.
He was uncovered within his tent. It's a deeper meaning than with this as well. But read on.
And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward.
So when you get drunk, again, shameful things happen because you don't remember. You don't know. How did I get here? Who brought me? Who put me in the bed? Where my clothes? Why is this liquid on the floor? Why they took a picture of me sleeping in the bathroom? All this kind of stuff. Same thing right here. But let's get Habakkuk 2 and 15. And when we get ready to go out, our people always were saying that, ooh, it's my birthday. I'm about to give what's up. I'm throwing up tonight. Why in the world would you want to do that? When it's one of the worst feelings in the world. But we done made it into a popular thing.
Every time, I ain't drinking no more.
Right, exactly. This is the last time if you let me get on this one, I promise I ain't gonna try to do it no more. Right back at it. As soon as it die down. Habakkuk 2 and 15.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that put your bottle to him.
Whoa! Again, it's not a good thing. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth the bottle to him. We used to get ready to go out and say, boy, get that Ciroc in there. It's going to be easy pickings, boy. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink.
That put your bottle to him and make him drunken also, that you may look on their nakedness.
Ooh, it's gonna be easy for you to get that poker face. So
You are filled with shame for glory.
you are filled with shame for glory. Now, amongst your people that's drunk with you, it look all good. But the people that see you, know you, it's a shameful thing. They look at that. Look at this one. It's a shameful thing. Read.
You are filled with shame for glory. Drink you also, and let your foreskin be uncovered.
That's a what?
Let your foreskin be uncovered.
Wow. How did you take that picture of me like that? Read.
The cup of Yahuwah's right hand shall...
Of what?
The cup of Yahuwah's right hand
The cup of the Most High's right hand. Go ahead.
shall be turned unto you, and shameful spewing shall be on your glory.
Shameful spewing. What is that shameful spewing? Throwing up, exactly. All over the place. I ain't got on my $300 to go. Read. No, we actually do it right there. So we see shameful spewing. So, and he turned his cup against you. Let's get Jeremiah 51. Yeah, Jeremiah 51. And he said he's going to turn that cup against you. 51 and verse 6.
Yahuwah, chapter 51 and verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon has been a golden cup.
Has been what?
Has been a golden cup.
Has been a golden cup. Read.
In Yahuwah's hand.
It was a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, but what? He turned it against you. Read.
That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
Therefore the nations are mad. Let's get Isaiah 5 and 11.
Yahuwah, chapter 5 and verse 11. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning.
Woe unto them that do what?
Rise up early in the morning.
Oh, just get up and I gotta have me a beer off the rip. Soon as the store open, I gotta get me one. Read.
That they may follow strong drink that continue until night, till wine inflame them.
Till it do what?
Till wine inflame them.
All this comes from wickedness of the vine. Stealing a vineyard. All of this stuff go back to it. Read.
And the harp and the viol, the tabret and pipe and wine are in their feasts. But they regard not the work of Yahuwah, neither consider the operation of his hands.
So all of these instruments, we know this is a terrible mix. When you put music with alcohol and add women.
You get hip hop.
Exactly. But you gotta, that's why I said, and it flames them.
Right.
Because now he got to show off. My J's is, I got the new J's. Them niggas over there they ain't even got no bottles on their tables. Read.
Therefore, my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
Jump down to verse 22.
Verse 22. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine.
Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine. Read.
And men of strength to mingle strong drink.
I got it. You had that new one? You talking about the Incredible Hulk or something. This new one is. I don't even know this one somewhere. Read.
Which justify the wicked for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him.
That's what a drunk do. He'll justify wickedness. Go ahead.
Therefore, as the fire devours the stubble, and the flame consumes the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of Yahuwah of hosts, and despised the word of the Kadesh one of Israel.
And despised the word of the Kadesh one of Israel. Now we got the church who say stuff like, we get drunk in what? We get drunk in the spirit, right? Complete foolishness. If it ain't good to be drunk in the physical, why would you think that it's good to be drunk in the spirit? Does that make any sense? Absolutely none. Exactly, it ain't good. Let's get Isaiah 28:7.
You see Yahuwah chapter 28 and verse 7. So they also have error through wine.
Did what?
They have error through wine.
Read on.
And through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have error through strong drink.
What is the way? Well, we did a lesson on the way before. Read it from the top of your mind.
But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment.
They err in vision and they stumble in judgment.
For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean.
So that there is no place clean. So again, the priest and the prophets is teaching some of this stuff. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Let's get on Matthew 7:13. When we say that we set apart, it's a certain way that we're supposed to walk. Right? Matthew 7:13.
But see Yahoo chapter 7 and verse 13. Enter you in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leads unto life, and few there be that find it.
So it says, narrow is the way. Now, when you get pulled over by a cop or something, right? And you've been drinking. They pull you over, they make you get out the car, and they say, get out of the car. I need you to walk what? Straight line. So when you're drunk, you can't do it, right? So if you're spiritually drunk, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go the crooked path. It's the same thing. Spiritually drunk, or whether you're physically drunk, you cannot walk the straight and narrow path. It's impossible to do. Let's get on Micah 2:11.
Micah chapter 2 and verse 11. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie.
So if a man walking in falsehood, and the spirit in do lie. Go ahead.
Saying, I will prophesy unto you of wine and of strong drink. He shall even be the prophet of this people.
So if you believe this, then you deserve this guy. You deserve this guy that you following. Because you should know that it's a lie. Any that's drunk in the spirit, foolishness, you fall for it. You deserve this guy that I put over you. So, let's get Genesis 3. And 1. So if the Messiah is the word of the Most High, then Satan also got to have some words as well.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which HWHY had made. And he said to the woman, Yea, as the Most High said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.
So clear and cut, don't do this, or if you do this, what? You're going to die. No, it ain't no parable, nothing. It's crystal clear. Read.
And the serpent said to the woman, You shall not surely die.
You shall not surely die. Came right back and said the opposite. Read.
For the Most High does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and
So
evil.
that sounded good right there. Y'all going to be like gods. You will never die. But guess what? They already was dead. So you're going to be faced with the same type of challenge real soon. The same exact type of challenge. Read.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes,
It looked nice. Shiny. Read.
and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
So he gave it to her husband as well, and he did eat. Now let's show you what they were supposed to do. Let's get Matthew 4 and 1. So they fell for it, but the Messiah comes, the second Adam, to show you what you were supposed to do. Which we know Jay-Z and Oprah and them, they didn't do this.
HWHY chapter 4 and verse 1. Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry.
So you know he got to be actually starving. 40 days and 40 nights, no food and no water. Read.
And when the tempter came to him, he said, If you be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone.
So he didn't do what Eve done. He quoted the scripture on him. It's written. Read.
But by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of HWHY.
The words that proceed out of the mouth of the Most High. Not what Satan flipped it around and said, but he going by what? The word. Read.
Then the devil takes him up into the Kadesh city and sets him on a pinnacle of the temple and said to him, If you be the Son of the Most High, cast yourself down. For it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning you. And in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against a stone.
So Lucy even knows scripture. Read.
Yahushua said to him, It is written, You shall not tempt HWHY your power. Again, the devil takes him into an exceeding high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them.
Showed him the Trump Towers, the stuff over there in Dubai. Look, you can have all of this stuff if you want. Just, I need you to do this for me. Read.
And saith unto him, all these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me.
If you will fall down and worship me. Read.
Then saith Yahushua unto him, get behind me, Satan.
Get out of my face. Read.
For it is written, you shall worship Yahuwah your power, and him only shall you serve.
So he gave him scripture on script of what to do. He didn't fall for it like Adam and Eve did. So exactly. Plus, he know that this stuff is nothing. So all these people that we look up to on TV, they think that they got some real wealth. They don't really have absolutely nothing. Because if they was really smart, LeBron would say, don't send me no check. Put some gold in this vault for me. He'd say, I need some silver. Something tangible. Not some piece of paper. So he really don't got nothing. But the Messiah knows that this wealth that he's talking about ain't nothing. It's going to fade away no matter what it is that we get. We can want it as the new car, whatever it is. Even if it's a Bentley. When they change the body style of the Bentley, you ain't going to want this one no more. Because it's going to fade away. That's why it ain't nothing. Them shoes that you died for in high school, where they at right now? In the garbage somewhere. Because they absolutely nothing. But the Messiah, he knows this. Let's get 1 Chronicles. Matter of fact, let's get on 2 Chronicles 20 and 6.
2 Chronicles, chapter 20 and verse 6. And said, O Yahuwah, the power of our fathers, are not you the Most High in Shamayim, and rule not you over all the kingdoms of the heathen? And in your hand is there not power and might, so that there is none able to withstand you? Are not you our power, who has driven out the inhabitants of this land before your people Israel, and gave it to the seed of Abraham, your friend forever?
So he says, aren't you the Most High? All power is in your hand. So the Most High can give you whatever it is that you actually desire. You just got to go a process to get it. Let's get Ezra 8 and 22.
The book of Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 22. For I was ashamed to require of the king a band of soldiers and horsemen to help us against the enemy in the way, because we had spoken unto the king, saying, the hand of our power is upon all of them for good that seek him.
So the power of the Most High is for good for everybody that seek him, the people that keep his commandments. The hand is with you. But read.
But his power and his wrath is against all them that forsake him.
So if you forsake these laws, statutes, and commandments, that right hand does what? It's against you. It turns on you. Let's get Psalms 89.
The book of Psalms, chapter 89 and verse 9.
That's right, verse 42.
Verse 42. You have set up the right hand of his adversary.
Did what?
You have set up the right hand of his adversary.
So even what Satan is doing is actually controlled by the Most High. So that was set up the right hand of the adversary. Read.
You have made all his enemies to rejoice. You have also turned the edge of his sword, and has not made him to stand in the battle.
Not made him stand in the battle. Let's show you a clear instance of him turning the evil hand against us. Let's get Isaiah 10 and 5. Isaiah 10 and 5.
HWHY chapter 10 and verse 5. O Assyrian,
Who is this Assyrian?
Nimrod.
Read.
the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is mine
It
indignation.
says the rod of mine anger. So he's actually going to use Nimrod against the people who do what? Who go against his law, statutes, and commandments. All these pastors who teaching that the law is done away with. This guy that you fear gonna come after you. Finish that out.
I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets.
To do what?
To tread them down like the mire of the streets.
To tread them down like the mire of the streets. Because this right hand got what? It's got power in it. Let's get Isaiah 50 and 2.
HWHY chapter 50 and verse 2.
Now this is the Messiah speaking. Read.
Wherefore when I came was there no man. When I called was there none to answer. Is my hand shortened at all that it cannot redeem?
Is my hand shortened at all that it can't redeem? He said, I don't got no chicken wing. Read.
Or have I no power to deliver? Behold, at my rebuke I drive the sea. I make the rivers a wilderness. Their fish stink, because there is no water, and die for thirst. I clothe Shamayim with blackness. I make sackcloth their covering. Yahuwah has given me the tongue of the learned.
Wow, all of this stuff that this great man can do, he still say, somebody else taught me to do this. Bananas. So he says, at my rebuke, I dry up the sea. Just speak it and it's dry. Man, that's some power right there. Let's get Habakkuk 3 and 3. Skipping over some stuff so I can get down to like my art say the crooks.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 3.
Habakkuk 3 and 3.
Elohim came from Teman.
Where's Teman, anybody? Go ahead.
And the Kadesh one from Mount Paran.
Where's Paran? Middle East, go ahead.
Salah. His glory covered the Shamayim, and the earth was full of his praise.
Read.
And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand.
He had what?
He had horns coming out of his hand.
Wait a minute. Horns, like light. Like what you see Iron Man and them doing. Read that again.
And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand.
That's some power. He got horns coming out of his hand. Read.
And there was the hiding of his power.
And there was the hiding of his power. Let's get on. Judges 5 and 26. B, what was the Most High's name you fell out?
Behold nail, behold hand.
Say it loud so they can hear you.
Behold nail, behold hand.
Behold the nail, behold the hand. Let's get Judges 5 and 26. Show you all of these stories all point to how Mashiach, which is the glory or the esteem of the Most High.
The book of Judges, chapter 5 and verse 26. She put her hand to the
She
nail.
did what?
She put her hand to the nail.
So in this hand, she took the nail, read,
And her right hand to the workman's hammer. And with the hammer she smote Sisera. She smote off his head when she had pierced and stricken